Welcome back, baseball fans, as we continue our Legends in the Making playthrough, where we are going from 1921 up to 2025, revisiting baseball history and seeing how it plays out as we mix all the players together right from the start, Negro Leagues and the American National League together. We are playing the role of Abner Doubleday here as St. Louis Cardinals. We've had some rough seasons the last couple, still above 500 ball, but not doing our best. We are in opening day 1940. The lineup we will have Cool Papa Bell again at 36. Look at that, though. It looks like he's had 3 solid seasons in a row. We expect another one. Lonnie Frey at second base. Ernie Lombardi, we have acquired from the White Sox last season, and he is going to hopefully power us through at catcher. Hank Greenberg, Hammer and Hank, is ready to step in because Gehrig has retired. Martin DeHigo is once again going to be pitching and hitting for us, hopefully pitching better than he did last season. Monte Irvin is going to be slotting in from the start at this season at shortstop. Hank Majeski at third base, and Mike Krivich in center field. Now, we do have a young Stan Musial chomping at the bit, not quite ready, but he'll be up here in a season or two at the latest. In the lineup, we have Martin DeHigo in the rotation, Eddie Smith, Thornton Lee, and Carl Hubble. Schoolboy Rowe is back there ready to potentially get some starts. Denny Galehouse as well. If something changes, he will be moving in. Satchel Paige is not one that's ready to go, it looks like, because he's in one of these off years, but we'll have him for like the next 15 years because he pitched till he was, 50? Now, before we go into the season, we are going to look at the Hall of Fame results. Bullet Rogan and Rogers Hornsby, both in their first year making it in. Our guy, Smokey Joe Williams, just missing out in his third year yet again. While Bobby Veach, after 10 years, and Babe Adams, Harry Solomon, John Choate, Joe Judge, and Hurley McNair all dropping off. I don't see any others from our lineup. Oh, there's Hack Wilson, not doing too well. Epirixie as well as one of ours, but doesn't look like they're going to have a shot at making it. Now, this is the new decade, so we're going to take a quick look at our career records. Single season, let's see if anything has changed since 1930. No new single season batting records. Career-wise, we do have Cobb still 368 average. Cobb. Gehrig is the slugging and on-base percentage leader. At bats, everything's Cobb here. Singles, Tris Speaker, and doubles, triples, Sam Crawford. Those may not be touched. Babe Ruth. So far cry from his actual total, coming up 160 short. RBI, though, he's right around where he was. I think he had 2,200. Stolen bases, Billy Hamilton. Nobody's going to come close to that anytime soon. Caught stealing, Ty Cobb. There you go. Walks and strikeouts both go to Ruth, while wins above replacement to Cobb. In the pitching categories, we do have Clint Brown setting the mark at 30 saves in the 1939 season just last year. Dutch Henry with 82 games. Surprisingly, not our guy. And then we have Sam Streeter for home runs allowed at 38. Not the best record to have. Nobody else down here. And we have Ed Walsh, Cy Young still, Walter Johnson in losses, Al Spalding. So George Ewell with saves. There's one of ours. Cy Young again, Walter Johnson again. So I don't see anybody new from us. Babe Ruth with hits allowed per 9. Rube Waddell, again, before our time. So no one has cracked through this stalwart of early players thus far. Now, when we look at the milestone watch, though, we do have several hitters ready to hit that 2,500 mark, 3 of them. Judy Johnson probably will not get it. Now, Dick Lundy, if he plays, will. It looks like in Charlie Gehringer, I fully expect him to soar past that. Joe Cronin is only 12 hits shy of 2,000. Surely he'll get that. I don't see any of our players on there. Within 30 home runs, 400 home runs, Jimmy Fox is 24 away. Mel Lott, he'll get that, I'm sure. He's almost to 300. Josh Gibson is almost to 250. No doubt he'll get that. Turkey Stearns is almost to 250, but I don't think he'll be getting there. Martin Dihigo is closing in on 250. He's got a shot for us. In runs, we do have Dihigo and Cool Papa Bell closing in on 1,000 runs. Hopefully they both hit that number. But Jimmy Fox is 7 away from 1,500. Well done, Jimmy. Milestones, again, Jimmy Fox closing in on 1,500. He's going to hit both, it looks like. Cronin and a lot of others are closing in on 1,000 RBI. Walks, George Scales, interesting. Charlie Gehringer and Joe Cronin all closing in on 1,000 walks. Nobody on stolen bases. On the pitching side of things, we've got some closing in on 200 wins. McDonald, Whitehill, Ruffing, and Bell. Ruffing's only 34. The rest of them are 40, so he could continue to soar. And as far as games go, Lefty Grove, who is not going to be pitching too often for us, he's going to come out of the bullpen this season. He did struggle a lot with control, but he wasn't getting the strikeouts, so we're moving him back there. Well, that could change as the season goes on. So lots of people, Jesse Petty is so close. He should hit 800 game milestone. So with that being said, we're going to kick off the 1940 season against the Pittsburgh Pirates to see if we can bounce back and mount a charge for the pennant this time. Well, at the All-Star break in 1940, things are going great for us. This may be our best season yet as far as the winning percentage goes, 55-25. It is astounding with the offense clicking first or second and everything, and even on pitching. I mean, bullpen ERA and fielding play third, but everything else, and defensive efficiency and errors, we have everybody in the right positions. And if you'll notice here, everybody's hitting 300 in the starting lineup outside of Monte Irvin, who just dropped below it. Mike Krivich is also not doing all that poorly, but look at this. Dihigo and Smith and Lee and Hubble are crushing it. Schoolboy Rowe, Lefty Grove has a few saves and a win. Luis Tiant is pitching better in his 12 innings, so everybody's doing really great for us back there. That's the good news. So let's check in on where we are at, starting with the All-Star rosters. So for the AL, Paul Derringer is going to be the starter, it looks like. And we've got Lanier, McDuffie. I'm not seeing a lot of repeats that I'm recognizing. Johnny Mize, of course, he's sitting there. Hal Trosky with 22 home runs starting for Detroit, our former guy. He's in the midst of his peak. Luke Appling is back at hitting 390. But Ted Williams making an appearance again, hitting 302, only 8 home runs. So he's starting off slow on that department. And then there's Dom DiMaggio and Joe DiMaggio, who beat out his brother. Joe's having a stellar year again. And then Enos Slaughter, this is, I believe, his first All-Star. It is. So how about that? Enos Slaughter showing up. In the NL, we have Carl Hubble picking up the start for his, oh goodness, look at all these All-Stars. We'll just leave it at that. So Dihigo is back in there. Thornton Lee and Eddie Smith. All of our whole rotation is in the All-Star game, which is awesome to see. Whit White is back there. We have Denny Galehouse as a reliever. Josh Gibson beating out Lombardi, but that's understandable with his 24 home runs and 331. It's a lot better than Lombardi, but Lombardi's having a great season. Vince DiMaggio, so all the DiMaggios are playing, but Jimmy Fox, of course, beating him out. Not having as good of a year overall, it looks like, but the fans liked him. Hank Greenberg should have been the one hitting 330. He's better in all the categories, but he's not getting the start. Gehringer's getting a start again. Who else do we have? Mel Ott back again. Charlie Keller is making, but Ott is, hey, Majeski. What is this? It's his first one. Congratulations. 23 years old. He's breaking into the All-Star team. Now let's take a look at the standings, and the Red Sox and the Browns are in a close one. The Browns, finally, with Dom DiMaggio and Enos Slaughter, Lou Boudreau. It's been a while, but they are finally making a run. And then the Red Sox, being led by Luke Appling, Joe Kuehl is having a good season. So not a lot of huge names, but they're winning. Now, we are running away with it, thankfully, at the moment, but things could change. So let's check out the AL leaders. 390, Luke Appling. Then we have Joe DiMaggio and Dom DiMaggio right behind. Trosky's leading the way in home runs with Mize and Fletcher. Runs batted in again. Trosky with a monumental lead here, almost 20 RBI. George Case is doubled up second and third in stolen bases. Trosky is dominating in OPS. The WAR goes to Luke Appling, though. Hitting streak, a 21-gamer. Trosky had 17. And Wild Bill Wright. That's a great name. Glad he got on to the leaderboards here. ERA, Paul Derringer with a sub-2 ERA. He's also got 13 wins, but he's not up there in strikeouts. He's got 53, so he's not going to be getting a triple crown there because Hilton Smith is well ahead of that. Al Benton is lapping people with saves, and Ray Brown has the pitcher WAR with a 4.11 ERA. Interesting. So batting average on the NL, McCoskey is at 355. Our guy DeHigo is 335. But man, the Boston Bees have two guys, top two. Home runs, you got Gibson followed by Greenberg. Then we have Gibson and RBIs, again, followed by Greenberg and DiMaggio. Cool Papa Bell's leading the way in stolen bases, and he's hitting 301, so he is mounting the charge. Right now, he's not on the radar for the Hall of Fame. That's because he wasn't starting a lot of games in this section. Then he did. Then he wasn't playing a lot for us because he was having some slumps. But now these last 4 or 5 years, he's only no All-Star games, nothing but a couple World Series is probably why. We're hoping he can show some of that speed that he has and be aggressive on the base paths and lead the league. OPS, Gibson, then Greenberg, then McCoskey. WAR goes to Gibson and McCoskey. Hitting streak, Frey and Cool Papa Bell having the two top ones for the NL. ERA, William Bell, a 208. Then Thornton Lee, our guy. Look at that. Wins all of ours. But again, we are pitching 4-man rotation as opposed to 5. Because at this time, historically, 4-man rotation is what you would see more of. Bob Feller leading the way in strikeouts with far fewer. Wow. He's just crushing it. And now he's got his control getting under there, so he's going to dominate the next 5-6 years for sure. Joe Beggs and Clint Brown and Charlie Root, our former guy, still at 41, getting done. Well done, Charlie. He does have some Hall of Fame monitoring going on. Not sure he's going to make it, but it's nice to see our former player up there. He's had a good follow-up career there at the end of his career at Cincinnati. And then who do we have? Our pitcher WAR goes to Passou, then Newsom, then Thornton Lee. So that's where we stand at the All-Star break. We did make one change at the beginning of the season, and we sent down our backup shortstop to bring Harry Walker up. He's ready to go, it looks like, and he's backing up Greenberg, so it's not like he has to carry the team, but he's having a decent for the few games that he's played and plate appearances. We're happy with that. Lou Finney is striking the ball really well. He starts him, and he's substituting for a lot of the outfielders as we go. And we are going to just jump ahead to see if we can close out the pennant. Well, we wrapped up the season with a 12-game lead, 95 wins. We placed great in everything except bullpen ERA and base running. Everything else was fantastic. We did lose Carl Hubble for a few months, but Luis Tiant stepped in, and we did make a trade at the deadline. We traded, this was actually offered to us. We were able to go with, where do we have it? So we gave up Bob Dillinger, future second baseman potentially, Pep Rambert, and Harry Walker in order to get Mort Cooper and Ray Dandridge. So Dandridge is a more versatile defensive player, second, third, and short. And then Mort Cooper, I know he was a Cardinal, especially during World War II, so I'm hoping we can capitalize on that and do well with him. He was pitching well for Philadelphia. Well, not well, but he was serviceable. But then he came over to us, 5 games, 9 innings pitched, 2 saves, no earned runs allowed. He did his job. We wrapped up the season. Now we're going to be going again up against the Red Sox, who were able to hold off the St. Louis Browns and winning one more game than us, actually. The league leaders ended up being Luke Appling, who we're going to face in the series. DiMaggio was second and then first in home runs, second in RBI, having probably an MVP year. Trosky, though, was second in home runs and first in RBI. Ted Williams popping up with 334 average. Stolen bases, 37 for George Case, trouncing the competition. Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams and Johnny Mize all dominating the OPS. Batter war goes to Luke Appling and the other DiMaggio in the American League, Dom. And then Ted Williams was up there as well. 21 games was the high hitting streak. Paul Derringer, leading the ERA race by quite a bit and getting the wins, but not getting the strikeouts. We knew he wouldn't. Hilton Smith does that with 153. Hal Benton gets 25 saves and Ray Brown 7.6 pitcher WAR. In the NL, McCoskey had a 339 average, which was far below what the American League's lead was. Gehringer was right behind him. Josh Gibson right behind him with 43 home runs and 123 RBI. It was the only thing that kept him from Triple Crown. But Vince and Greenberg both tied second at 29 home runs behind Gibson. Greenberg also tied for the batting RBI crown. DiMaggio was just 2 RBI behind. Cool Papa Bell doing what we were hoping, lighting up the base paths with 40 stolen bases at the age of 37 and playing stellar defense. OPS was Gibson and Greenberg and Rudy York, who also got the batter WAR, the catcher for Cincinnati, having another solid season for them. Lonnie Frey with 21 hitting streak, still nothing changed and tying the American League. ERA title went to William Bell, holding off Thornton Lee. The wins were all of ours. Dahigo also did great in the hitting categories because he also hit 360 RBI, 6 home runs, 63 runs scored. So he did fantastic for us, 132 hits. I mean, he's almost to 2,000 hits. He's crossed 1,000 runs and 1,000 RBI, 200 home runs. He's hitting 301 for his career. The guy's amazing. So he's going to be great. Look at all these accolades. It is crazy. And then we had Eddie Smith losing out to Bob Feller for the strikeout race. But considering Smith had, only 13 more innings pitched. So he did quite well. But Feller's going to start lighting that up, I feel like, even more. Huge gap between NL and AL, though. Joe Begsman saves, tied with Clint Brown, then Charlie Root, so no one changed. Claude Passot, who was offered to us in a trade. We almost did it. I can't remember who they were wanting, but I thought we didn't really have a spot for him in the lineup, and we were giving up some young talent that we could see we need maybe in the future. And then Thornton Lee, though, getting second with Whit Wyatt. So with that being said, the playoff race, if we look at so we were second in runs scored in the league, first in runs against. They were second and first as well. They scored 4 more runs than us, but they allowed 26 fewer runs. So the pitching was there. They are really good at home. We were really good on the road, and so we had much more equal. So if we win one or two of the home games, then we'll be in good shape. Now, if we look historically, we were last in the World Series in 1936, where we won our 4th championship. They were in their last season, but they last won in 1935, so they are sitting with 6 championships. So we're going to see how we do, and if we can send Thornton Lee out there. Is that who we want? That is who we want. So let's see how it stacks up against the Boston Red Sox. Hopefully we can prove the NL is the dominant league here as we seek to win our 5th World Series. So we do go down 3-2. Dahigo had 2 home runs for us, though, but nobody apparently was on base for either one of them. He takes him out in game 2, pitching a gem. It looks like 7 innings pitched, 1.29 ERA, getting another home run from the plate. Greenberg also adding 1, so we're tied at 1-1. Now we have to go to Boston. We are a good road team, but they're a better home team. But we shut them out 4-0 behind Eddie Smith. No home runs, but we beat Derringer too, the ERA crown. Now we send our old veteran Carl Hubble, who's been dominant, future Hall of Famer, going up against Ted Lyons in Game 4. Lyons holds him off 3-0. So Thornton Lee up against Hilton Smith in Boston. We get 6-1. Now they are not as strong on the road. We're up 3-2. We have 2 chances at home to finish this off. We're hoping Dahigo can continue this. Maybe he gets the win here and gets the MVP at the same time. And he does win. He does not get the MVP. Cool Papa Bell does. 10 hits, 333. Surprising there. Mort Cooper, our trade, getting the win, picking it up. Cool Papa Bell, Hank Greenberg with 2 home runs. And so we win our 5th championship. And now it is time to head into the offseason as champions, seeing who we can maybe add to create a stronger team and possibly make room for Stan the Man Musial to join the squad. And we get ready for the player draft, where the top prospects, you got Bonnie Sorrell, George Kell, Torgerson, Ralph Kiner, Vic Rashi. I did see an earlier one, Warren Spahn. Yes, Warren Spahn is back because he failed to sign with the Yankees in 1939 after being picked 2nd overall. Maybe he slips to us, but the problem is we are way down here in 18, so I highly doubt we are going to get anything here because the Yankees have that pick there, and they have another one back here. Do the compensation, the Cubs as well. The Athletics, they get the 1st and the 6th pick. I mean, we don't really have a shot. Us and Boston are just sitting back here seeing what will come to us. So we are going to start the draft, and hopefully we can get somebody here. So when we look at all players, the top guys, Ralph Kiner, Andy Pafko, Bonnie Sorrell, I'm not familiar with him. Negro League player. So he didn't have a lot of stats, so he's a risk if we take him. Warren Spahn, Hoot Evers, Dick Wakefield, Marv Grissom. I don't see any beyond that. Is there anybody slipping through? Frank Baumholz maybe. Sometimes this is how I found Stan Musial, and it'd be nice if we could find another one like that. But we are going to just go to draft. No. Sortable list, and we'll see who goes off the board first. So Philadelphia with the first pick is going to take Ralph Kiner. Chicago is going to take Andy Pafko. The Yankees are going to go with Spahn. They're going with Spahn again. Chicago is going to get George Kell. The Phillies, Bonnie Sorrell. Vic Rashi then goes Dick Wakefield. Hoot Evers, Marv Grissom, Bob Kuzava, Mel Parnell. Hal Skeets Gregg goes to the Yankees. Sal Rogovan, Frank Baumholz, Bill Lefty White goes to the Yankees. So we are the Earl of Snohomish Torgerson. Okay, so Earl Torgerson I know, but that nickname, that's news to me. So interesting. Then the Browns are going to take Jerry Staley. Let's see who is recommended for us. Harry Fritz Dorish is recommended. Solid pitcher, it looks like, in his day, at least at times. I mean, there is Pat Siri out here. He can't make contact, but man, he's got some power potential, but he didn't have that long of a career. Let's check out. I think Hank Bauer is definitely one that could definitely play a solid role for us throughout the 50s there. We do have Stan Musial waiting back there. Monty Irvin as well. Now, if we look at he is our best available. Pitching wise, we have some guys in the minors. So I think we're going to take Hank Bauer. He's the best available. So we're going to go with that. And let's jump ahead to the end of the draft. And we will see what the awards and such of the offseason, as well as Hall of Famers, are as we get into the next 1941 season. And welcome back to opening day, 1941. We have some changes in the lineup as we get ready to defend our championship. Phil Rizzuto is going to be starting off at shortstop for us, getting a chance to roll after getting a little bit of a cup of coffee in 1939, but now it's his time leading him off. Lonnie Frey is going to be at second base. Danny Litweiler is going to be playing left field for us, kind of out of nowhere. Monte Irvin is going to be in center. Ernie Lombardi is going to be there. Lou Finney is at first base. Ray Dandridge, Martin DeHigo, again, is going to be doing both. Satchel Paige is ready to go, leading off the rotation for us with DeHigo right behind. Thornton Lee again and Carl Hubble. Now, you'll notice first base, Lou Finney is there. That's because this is when Hank Greenberg was about to go off to war, and so his stats have adjusted. He'll be getting playing time, but he won't be starting necessarily unless some things change. Mort Cooper is ready to go as well. Schoolboy Rowe is getting a little closer. Lefty Grove can still pitch. Denny Galehouse, Eddie Smith has been moved back. It's going to be interesting where we kind of see people shape up. We do have the Hall of Fame results. Harry Heilman is the only one, fourth year. Smokey Joe Williams getting a little bit closer. Sam Rice just missing out as well. So Heilman between Detroit and Philadelphia, which a good chunk of this was not with us. But 13 RBI or 1,300 RBI, 165 home runs, 2,600 hits, 1,200 runs. He did lead the league in doubles once, averaged twice. He was hitting 318 overall. So deserved turn there. Now we want to check out the awards from last season before we kick off this year. So when we go to the Gold Glove winners in the AL, Bill Foster yet again. This man has had a heck of a career at 36. He has been dominant and doing such a great job. 266 wins, 2,100 strikeouts. He is a surefire Hall of Famer at this one, I would imagine. His monitor isn't quite there, but I mean, he's shown up so many times. He's got the Gold Gloves. It'd be a shame if he doesn't. DeSaltis is new. Kuhl, Appling, Lou Boudreau, Pee Wee Reese. I believe that's his first one. It is. And Frank DeMare, Dom DiMaggio, and then Augie Galen. Interesting, some new names. In the NL, it was Bill Lee, Buddy Rozar, McCormick, Bartel, Lundy. Again, some new names. Cool Papa Bell picking up his first one. Will it help him get with that MVP? He's still not there. Mike Krivich picking up his third for us. And then in the AL reliever went to Jumbo Brown unanimously. NL, Joe Beggs unanimously. Platinum Stick Award winners in the AL, Ted Lyons. Now we have pitchers not exactly living up to it. Babe Phelps, Hal Trosky, our former guy again, Luke Appling, Tabor, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Enos Slaughter getting started. So here we've got two that will be there for a long time. And Joe Cronin, another one that we traded away. But I think it was worth it because we brought over Dahigo. But Cronin's been great, but we've been winning and Dahigo's been doing great. In the NL, speaking of which, Martin Dahigo hitting 300 last season, winning it for pitcher again. Josh Gibson picking it up for catcher. Greenberg getting it for first base. Gehringer, the Monte Irvin picking up his first. Selkirk and McCoskey and Heinrich. Rookie of the year went to Dom DiMaggio unanimously. I mean, that was a great line there. 92 RBI, 328 average. In the NL, it was Bill Nicholson unanimously as well, hitting 285 with 25 home runs and 104 RBI. The Cy Young went to Paul Derringer, who we were able to rough up, I might add, in the World Series. The top three were all going to Boston Red Sox. And Thornton Lee gets it unanimously for us, with Eddie Smith now moving to the bullpen, getting third. And Martin Dahigo picking up a few points. MVP went to Luke Appling in the AL, 11 first place votes. Joe DiMaggio close behind. In the NL, it was Josh Gibson unanimously beating out Rudy York and Hank Greenberg for that one. So well done, Gibson, with his 43 home runs. He's sitting at 287 home runs now. That is a heck of a run. And he led the league in RBI. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, I'm sure, if he's around enough. Now, you'll see his ratings have taken a dip, and that's because these Negro League players, they bounce all around. But I would imagine in 43, he's going to be ready to go for another couple of big years. So we'll see what happens this season for him as we jump into the 1941 season. At the All-Star break in July 1941, we find ourselves 4 games out of first place behind the Boston Braves. We are doing okay, though. Not as dominant as last time, but we did move Greenberg into the lineup. He has no power at all. So he's struggling. Monte Irvin, Danny Lidweiler is doing great for us. I mean, this is a guy that I haven't heard of, but he was successful for at least a year. We're going to see what happens after that. And then we've got Dandridge is doing well for us as well. Phil Rizzuto starting off okay. Satchel Paige started off rough, but he has been on fire the last month. Martin Dahigo is doing great. When it comes to pitching, hitting, he's been struggling. So that's why we moved Greenberg into the lineup to maybe help Dahigo as a pitcher. It's worked. Leon Hubble's just phenomenal again this season, 15-3 record. Ira Hutchinson has 10 saves for us as well. Now, when we look at the standings overall and the leaders, Cleveland is up there 3.5 games over the Senators. Ted Williams is hitting .433. That is amazing. He hit .406. So this was one of his 400 seasons. This was the 400 season when you don't count where he barely pitched. So we'll see. Will he hit that mark? 37 home runs as well. He's hitting 20, so he might have a better season. DiMaggio, Stan Hack, Williams leading in. He's going for the Triple Crown here. Bob Johnson, Joe DiMaggio, Hal Trotsky's up there again. Kimbrough with stolen bases. OPS goes to Williams, no surprise. WAR as well. Hitting streak, he had a 30-game hitting streak. Roy Campanella getting this chance to shine here for the first time. In the ERA, lead goes to Hal Schumacher, followed by Lanning and Lanier. Ted Lyons for Boston has the most wins. Johnny Vandermeer up there in strikeouts, but his control is a problem. He had 311 strikeouts in 1940 in Double-A, but he also had 140 walks. Lefty Bo, we have Jumbo Brown again in saves, trying to defend his reliever title. In the NL, Pete Reiser, followed by Moses and Litweiler, 351. Josh Gibson has 21 home runs, so he's still doing his thing, hitting 256 in the process. Did he hit He did hit number 300, so he is definitely moving in. He's got to be up there for Hall of Fame now, yeah. He'll get there. We have Bill Nicholson, Dahlgren, Tommy Heinrich, and Litweiler are tied for RBI. Lonnie Frey's up there in second in stolen bases. Then we got Reeser, so, man, he's doing quite well. Hitting streak, 19 games in the NL. Ernie White's leading the ERA title by Whit Wyatt. Carl Hubble is in wins. But again, Wyatt's pitched 20 games. Hubble's, 20 games, so we're even. Strikeouts, Bob Feller by Wyatt, and then Satchel Paige, who needs to get the walks under control, but he's got them compared to Bob Feller. So then we got Newt Kimball in first, but Ira Hutchinson, our guy, third place. And then Wyatt, then Page and Hubble in the WAR category. So the all-star lineups have been announced. For the AL, you got Lanier, Lanning, Lyons, some familiar names up there. Hal Schumacher getting the start. Bill Dickey again, Trotsky again, Appling again, Cronin, Medwick and Williams and DiMaggio. Lots of familiar names. Dahigo getting the start, and Hubble and Thornton Lee both joining him. Bobo Newsom is there with Wyatt. Josh Gibson beating out Lombardi again. This seems to be how it works. Jimmy Fox is getting the start. Lonnie Frey is up there. Ray Dandridge getting the start for us, third. Charlie Keller, Easterling is there. McCoskey is back. Reiser's back. Litweiler getting his first one, I believe. Yeah, so this is exciting for him. So hopefully we can mount a charge in the second half of the season and see where we wind up. Well, the season ended, and we finished at 83-71, respectable, but 14 games behind the Reds, who just ran away with it. Much closer in the AL. Only one team was further than 10 games behind us. The Browns made their first World Series appearance, but it did not turn out well for them as they got swept in 4 games by the Reds, with Jeff Heath getting the MVP. Now, when we look at the end result stats of the season, Ted Williams picked up the Triple Crown, hitting .411, 36 home runs, and 139 RBI. Our former guy, Hal Trotsky, another great season. And given how Greenberg fell off, I'm starting to wonder maybe we should have kept Trotsky, because now, will he fall off with him going off to military service at this point? That remains to be seen. But already, real life, he had 228 home runs, 1,000 RBI. He is right around that number already, so we'll see how he does. We've got Henry Kimbo, 17 stolen bases. No one's breaking away yet there. Ted Williams, he's going to be the MVP. Joe DiMaggio is right there as well. Is this the MVP year that DiMaggio beat him out? I think this might be. I know he beat Williams out on a year he won the Triple Crown. It might have been this one. And there was a relief pitcher that got third, picked up like 7 first place votes that season. And so that could have been the difference between Williams and DiMaggio. In the pitching categories, we had Dave Barnhill with 2.95 ERA, Barnhill in wins, but not in strikeouts. Vandermeer getting that one with 189. Jumbo Brown leading the league in saves yet again. Dutch Leonard showing up, 6-1 pitcher WAR. In the NL, Pete Reiser holding it out. Bonnie Sorrell just jumping right in, man. Hardly any AAA for him, 338. Woo. What a steal he was for the draft for this first season for Philadelphia. Taffy Wright for New York. Then we had Josh Gibson leading the league in home runs again and hitting only 237, but he is pounding the ball, making up to 324 home runs, and he's almost there and past the 1,000 RBI mark, or 1,000 run mark. He has the RBI mark, and he's close to 2,000 hits, so he's having a great career. Danny Litweiler, our boy, getting 106 RBI on the scene. Lonnie Frey and Phil Rizzuto getting second and third behind McCoskey for stolen bases. Because remember, Cool Papa Bell was not in our starting lineup this season for most of it. Pete Reiser dominate batter WAR. What a phenomenal number that is. Just behind Ted Williams. Eaton got the longest hitting streak, but Monty Stratton, 2.23 ERA, 3. Just the ERA is so much bigger here, but they weren't going up against Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams. Carl Hubble and Thornton Lee and Whit Wyatt all time with 21 wins. Hubble did it in 38 games, Lee in 39, Wyatt in 37. Hubble is about to wind down his Hall of Fame career probably. Strikeouts went to Bob Feller again. He'll probably do that the next several years. Martin Dihigo, 149, had a 3.19 ERA and 18 wins but 18 losses and struggled from the offensive side this year. Clint Brown getting the saves. Ira Hutchinson, our guy, but his ERA was not good. So I don't know why I left him there. And Dihigo getting second behind Whit Wyatt for pitcher WAR. Now, that does bring it to where we are going to be wrapping up this episode. 1940, 1941, we will have our first-year player draft to kick off the next episode. We will see then who gets the awards and where we stand going into 1942. I think in the next episode, I'm going to try to do 1942, 43, and 44. So be sure, if you haven't already, subscribe so that way you can get those notifications and help the channel grow and help more people find this series of our Legends in the Making, rewriting history as we go through baseball from 1921 to 2025. So hope to see you on the next episode.